Hi everyone, I'm Megan Raymond, Director of the Jefferson Public Citizens program, and I'm here with
Brian Cullaty, the Associate Director of the Jefferson Public Citizens program.
and we are doing a series of videos to show you how to apply to JPC. So this first video is going to be sort of an overview of the application and just an overview of the program. So hopefully we'll answer some of your questions about how to apply for JPC. And we'll start with talking a bit about the program's purpose, its goals. We'll look at the checklist of all the pieces that you need for the application and then share with you some tips from JPC alumni on how to succeed in applying.
So the overarching goal of JPC is to make the world a better place. And we think of it as an opportunity for you to take what you're learning in the classroom here at a world-class institution like UVA and go out and, through collaboration with the community, put that knowledge into action, as we say, in partnership with a local community organization or one globally or nationally.
Excellent. And this is a picture of an actual JPC project. I think these are students in Africa working on a health project. And as Brian was mentioning, we have this very ambitious goal for the program, and a lot of core values undergird that goal that are connected with community engagement. There's a list here, and they probably all make a lot of sense to you. One that I think is really important to think about as you start designing your JPC project is this one about being non-extractive. And what we mean by that is thinking about if you're going to go into a community and they're going to work with you, what can you give them? What kinds of resources and knowledge and products and outcomes can you share with them? And that they can also share with you so that there's sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
And picking up on Megan's idea of a mutually beneficial arrangement, I also just want to mention reciprocity. And so this is the idea that there's going to be a mutual exchange of information between you and the organization. And really all of these values, if you think about them for a minute, they're a good way to go into any type of partnership with a community organization. Just go in being humble and ready to partner with that organization.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about what happens when you're accepted into the JPC program. I know right now you're just thinking about applying, but as you think about applying, you probably want to know what you're signing on for. So for JPC students, there are three main things that you need to do. There are lots of other little things tucked in along the way, but the first and foremost is complete your JPC project. That can happen over the summer after you've been accepted into the program, or we also have local projects that take place throughout the school year. The second thing that we ask students to do is publish the results and the findings from their project in the JPC journal, and that you'll see the cover with Thomas Jefferson in the bottom left here. And we have copies of the journal are available in PDF format on the JPC website, so you can read a lot of writing from previous JPC students. And then the third thing is presenting at the JPC competition in the spring. And we have a panel of judges that will listen to the presentations and select one as a winner. And for that winning presentation, JPC sends an award to the community partners. So, and the picture on the right is a student engaging in the presentation, I think in 2010.
And we've put these presentations on our JPC YouTube page, so you can go and watch them. And reading these journal articles and watching the presentations will give you a great overview of what it means to do a JPC project, as these students are debriefing what they've done and telling the audience about the things that they've learned and what they've found from their research.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of good material, so you can see what you're getting into by applying to JPC. Obviously, there's a lot of expectation, a lot of benefits to JPC students. First and foremost is that you become an author, a published author in a journal, and we've had students go on to publish their JPC articles in other journals around the country. And then also as a JPC student, once you finish those 3 steps, the complete, publish, and present, and then your faculty advisor signs off on the project and confirms that it meets the academic standards of the university, you will receive on your academic transcript JPC listed as an honor, like Dean's List. And then finally for graduation, no matter what year you graduate, you have a JPC sash that you can wear as you walk down the lawn.
And another great benefit too is after you graduate, you have an experience that you can talk about to an employer or in a grad school interview. And it's something that you have completed. You have a product there. I've heard some students tell me they even take the journal on their job interviews to show the employer what they've done. But it's a tangible thing that you can talk about and demonstrate that you have completed something. And you can also talk about some of the skills that you've learned through problem solving and working as a team. And you'll be able to demonstrate these things with real experiences.
Yeah, and there will actually be videos on YouTube from JPC alumni who are now in jobs, and several of them related to their JPC projects. So that's definitely a major benefit of participating in the program. And here you're going to see a list of where our various JPC students have gone and conducted projects in the past. Really not limited geographically at all. We have projects taking place locally here in Charlottesville. We've had projects take place around the country and then internationally as well. We'd love to see more projects taking place nationally in different places throughout the United States. So those are all possibilities, and we'll give you more information about how to fill out a budget to support traveling to these places.
Yeah, so don't feel limited geographically.
Exactly. That's the takeaway point there. All right, the next thing Brian and I are going to do is just start, because we're in overview mode, looking at the checklist for the application, because there's a lot of pieces you have to assemble. Okay, and you'll be able to find a link off the JPC website to this. I just clicked on it and it came up right away, but it's on the JPC homepage. And this is sort of like a grocery list of all the things that you need to have put together for your application.
And we have one complete application file on our website, but we've also this year broken it down into sections. So it's a way where you can work one section at a time, or if you need to give one of the sections to a faculty member or a community partner, and then you can bring all those sections together and turn them in one packet on the deadline.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a great point. To make sure that if you are going to have different people work on different pieces, the key thing is to have it all assembled in the order on this checklist, in that order, when you bring it in on the deadline. And the thing to keep in mind for this year is that we're only asking for one paper copy. Please don't staple it or get it bound in any kind of way, because we're just going to take it apart. So a folder or a binder clip or something like that, I think, will be perfect for this. So I think that's kind of the major points on the checklist there. And I thought we'd get you started on some tips and advice for applying to JPC. I think one of our major takeaway points, and hopefully you're listening to this in early September or maybe over the summer and starting to think about JPC applications, but the sooner you can start, the better. As you can see, there's a lot to think about here.
One of the things I would highlight on here is just to talk to other JPC students who have put together applications in the past. We've found that JPC students love to talk about their experiences, love to share what they've learned with other students. So feel free to contact them, and you may be wondering, well, how can I contact them? Well, you can go to the website, and we have the project listings of the last 4 cohorts of JPC students, and you can simply look up their name and send them an email, and I'm sure that they would be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's probably your best resource for information. And then you'll also see here listed a bunch of videos that we've done with former JPC students, and they're giving you all tons of advice on how to connect with other students, how to find faculty advisors, community partners, And they explain all of that in those videos. And there are lots of different ways to do it. I would say probably one of the main points, though, to take away is that you've got to talk to a lot of people, and that takes time just to find people and connect with them.
And so starting early, of course, as we have as the first bullet point, is so important because it does take a long time. And if you can start towards the beginning of the semester, then you'll have the whole semester to talk to people and to work on your application.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most important points because time slips away. And then the final point here, there are a lot of resources on the JPC website. There's probably a 25, 30 page handbook that explains the whole JPC program from start to finish, how it all works, what it's all about. So that's worth downloading and reading as well.
One of the things that we've started are JPC exploratory grants. So you may be watching this and thinking, well, I kind of have an idea, but I'm not really sure it's ready for a JPC project yet. And if you're thinking along those lines, these JPC exploratory grants may be exactly right for you. What we've done is we're just offering students some money to start to explore a project idea. So you may have the seedling of an idea, and as one example, what some students did last year was they were interested in building a garden at a local school and potentially building that into a JPC project. So they went to a conference on that exact subject, and we were able to pay for their travel to go up to that conference and learn more about it. So that's just one example. Students have done other things as well. But there's no deadline for this, so anytime you have an idea of something you would like to do, you could go ahead and apply for it.
Excellent. I think this is great for first year and second year students who think they might apply for JPC a little bit later in their time at UVA. So if you want to get started or dip your toe in the pool, that's what the exploratory grants are for. Let's see, I think I'm going to pull up the JPC website and just show you where some of this material is. It's here on the right, underneath the important materials link. There's the handbook I mentioned, the checklist we just looked at, and the exploratory grant. And there are a lot of other materials here that we'll be discussing in more detail in future videos, but this is a great place to get started. Oh, and there's also, here's the project listing that Brian talked about, where you can see all the students. You can go and see previous journal issues. These are pretty sizable PDFs, so you probably want to do it on a pretty speedy network. And again, questions about the program and even tips on how to get started. So there's a lot of material, and stay tuned, we'll have links to our videos up here as well.
And the course listing is another good link that I might point out, especially if you're a first year student who is watching this and you just want to start to explore some areas in which you may want to do a project. These courses are an opportunity to do some of that exploration, to gain some of that knowledge we've been talking about. And a lot of times these courses are incubators for projects. So students take these courses, and throughout the time in the course, they meet other people, and their final papers or sometimes the capstone projects that they do in these courses actually grow into JPC projects.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. It's a great way through courses to meet fellow students and potential faculty advisors too. So, excellent. I think that pretty much wraps up this overview video. We just kind of wanted to give you the big picture, give you a sense of what you will need to pull together over the next few months. We post a lot of events and updates on the JPC Facebook page, so please go like JPC so you can be current in what's going on. Application deadlines and materials I showed you already, but that's on the JPC website. And do you want to talk about the coffee?
Sure. If you're watching this, maybe you just had a lot of questions that came up in your mind and you're thinking, well, how do I learn about something a little more specific than what they just talked about here? And so this semester we're going to have coffee chats, and we'll be posting those dates on the Facebook page and the JPC website. And these will be a little bit like office hours that faculty hold. Megan and myself will be at some locations around grounds where they happen to serve coffee as well, places like Greenberry's and the Alderman Cafe. And we'll be there to buy you a cup of coffee and talk more specifically about questions that you have or ideas for a project that you have.
Excellent. Thanks for mentioning those. And more informational, kind of instructional videos coming soon. We'll be digging into how to write a proposal, how to prepare the budget, and going through all the pieces of the application. So stay tuned, more to come.